Hi, everybody. This is Jose Luis Morales with the Jose Luis Morales Real Estate Show. This is episode number 6. I have Penny Bergstrom. She's a professional home stager. She's here to give us some helpful tips as to what you should be doing if you're considering putting your home on the market in order to be able to make sure that you maximize value. So, hi, Penny. How are you?
Hey, Jose. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Good. So, Penny, do you mind sharing a little bit about yourself and your company and how long you've been in the business?
I'm Penny Bergstrom. I'm the owner of Delicious Decors, Home Staging and Design. We've had our company together for about 14 years. We've staged thousands of homes. We own our own inventory. We don't use rental furniture, and we buy everything new, replacing inventory regularly to make sure we keep up with the current trends and what's popular today and making everyone's home the most beautiful possible. We have a big warehouse in Ventura, but we do stage from San Luis Obispo all throughout greater Los Angeles County. We stage for a lot of investor clients, of course, real estate agents always bring us business, and homeowners.
Sounds great, Penny. Okay. And you said something really interesting. You said that you guys own a lot of your own furniture. Do some companies not own the furniture, or how does that work?
Well, we started our business model in the beginning by owning our own inventory, so we own absolutely everything. We never use any rental furniture. We don't buy used furniture. There are some other business models that do use rental furniture, and then they would add their own decor, art, and so forth. We just believe it's apples and oranges, actually, because we can keep everything fresh and new and keep with today's trends. We do very custom home staging, so no one house looks like another. We always take a look at the property and determine our staging based on the architectural style of the home, the scale, the colors, and the demographic. So we're making sure that we're staging that home to show it off architecturally and as well to scale. And sometimes a very high-end home, $4 or $5 million. Sometimes it's a smaller condo. Sometimes it's a beach property, and of course we'll do some beach accents, or a horse property. We bring a little horse flavor in there. So we believe in custom staging every home.
So whatever you guys feel is going to appeal to the end buyer. So if it's like a horse property, something that's going to appeal to that consumer. If it's a beach property, something that's going to appeal to that consumer. And then if it's a multi-million-dollar property, whatever appeals to that consumer as well too. So Penny, for those people that don't know, what is home staging?
Well, home staging is a marketing tool used to get your home ready to sell. So you want to show it in its very best light. And also, I think as you've mentioned before, certainly photos are very important. I mean, over 90% of people find the home that they might buy on the internet. And if it's staged beautifully and you have professional photos, they're going to come look at your listing and they're going to come look at your property for sale. So it starts right out of the gate of marketing your property online with good photos, as well as when people walk through the door and see it beautifully staged and they get a feeling like this feels like home to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I always tell people is that nowadays you got to sell your home twice. The first time is online. Because if people are making their decision online, whether or not they're actually going to come and see your home. So if you do a good job preparing your home for sale by either having somebody like you guide them on what needs to happen to get it ready for sale and take great pictures, then it's going to increase the amount of people that are actually going to go out and see the property, right?
By a lot. I mean, that's well more than 90% of people first see that property online. So a good agent that, has the home prepared properly with staging, has a professional photographer, that's the way to start it, to get people to walk through that door.
Okay. And is staging only for vacant properties, or is it also for maybe a property, like let's say I'm a homeowner, but I already have all of my own furniture. Can you do any staging in that situation?
Yes, we do. We call that redesign. So we come in and meet with the homeowner and do a staging consultation for them. And we make suggestions of maybe moving furniture, decluttering, freshening up pillows. And so we'll do a walkthrough of each room with them and our suggestions. And then sometimes we also suggest maybe they needed an updated dining set, or maybe they need, more mirrors or art or something. So then we will also add our inventory to their existing inventory.
Absolutely. Okay. And obviously, I mean, that makes a positive impact. And now, when you meet with them, will you also give them like helpful tips as to maybe things that they should remove? Like, I always hear in this industry that the less furniture, the better, and also to depersonalize and declutter. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah, we sure do. So, trying not to hurt anyone's feelings.
Exactly. That's
Everybody
the hard part.
loves their stuff. We often recommend they remove probably about 50%. Certainly, the personal items pretty much need to go. You want to make it neutral enough that someone else coming to view the property doesn't see it as, oh, this is Mary's house and I'm Sally. I want the house. It needs to be able to be depersonalized enough that anyone else walking in the door could see themselves bringing their family and living in that home. And so we do make suggestions of depersonalizing, decluttering, as well as maybe freshening up pillows, freshening up bedding. Sometimes right on the spot, we'll walk in a living room and say, well, let's just rearrange this a little bit. And while we're there, we might turn their sofa a different direction, their chairs. We make it so the space is open and inviting. And you always have to remember that how we live in a home and how we stage to sell are two very different things. So I do tell people that if it was my own home for sale, I would have to rearrange and declutter. And so it's not at all personal. At this point, your home is an asset. You're trying to sell it. So people have to look at it in terms of, it's an asset. I'm trying to sell it, even though I really enjoyed having raising my family here. But the next buyer will enjoy raising their family there as well.
Well, I think that you said a very important point. The way that you live in a property is going to be completely different than marketing it for sale. Obviously, you want to be able to have the new buyer visualize themselves in the property and be able to see themselves living there in that property. So it's completely different. So I've seen the impact that home staging has on properties, because I've been there personally when I'm showing properties to a home buyer that the property is staged. And sometimes I feel like the home buyer falls in love with the furniture and buys the house because they love the furniture so much. Do you ever see that type of impact with home staging?
Certainly. So we have people that all of our inventory is for sale. We own it. It's all new. It's other than a real estate agent sitting on a couch or a dining room chair. It's all been purchased new. We wrap it up in blankets and plastic wrap, and it goes back in our warehouse. So it's very fresh and new. And oftentimes we'll have someone come in and they absolutely love it and they want to buy everything, or they may want to buy the entire living room we've done, or so everything's for sale. And that's always quite the compliment. It happens more often when people are moving from out of state or out of the country, and then or they're purchasing a second, maybe a beach property or something, and it's all set up for them, and they don't have to figure out, where do I shop in California? This is my vacation home. It looks perfect like this. Good. I can just move right in, bring my clothes and my toothbrush.
Absolutely. What are some of the downfalls that you see of marketing like a vacant property without like doing any sort of staging?
Well, it just doesn't give you a feeling. It gives you a feeling of an empty blank space, and rather than a feeling of home. And it doesn't add anything to value in sorts of feeling or character. Or some homes are a little bit of a tricky layout. And some potential home buyer might walk in and think, well, how would I set up this room? Or where could I even put my TV? So when you have more of a tricky layout, it's even more important sometimes to stage, because the staging takes that question away from them. They don't think that way anymore. They walk in and say, this is beautiful. Oh, great. I could put my TV here, or, So it really helps people figure out an awkward space.
Absolutely. So it gives them a little bit of imagination. without having to do it themselves.
That absolutely, it's right there for them.
Good. So take me through the steps. Like, let's say that I'm about to put my property on the market. I call you for what's called a consultation. You go through my house. Is there, like, what's usually the first step that you do in those initial walkthroughs?
Well, I would say we stage more vacant properties than not, but either way, you give me a holler, so we make a time. We don't charge you anything for it. We come view the property with the home seller. Sometimes the realtor's there as well, or both of them. And we walk through the house and discuss the staging. And let's say it's a vacant property. Oftentimes, it saves on the budget a little bit. We'll always do the main rooms, the living room, family room, dining room. We always do the kitchen and bathrooms, and usually the master bedroom as well. And maybe a patio set. Patio sets pretty often. And if there's 3 or 4 secondary bedrooms, it depends on the homeowner's budget. Sometimes I suggest, they don't necessarily have to spend that money. You're going to get your main wow when people walk in and they see all the living spaces. And then again, the master bedroom's quite important to people. So that's the case of a vacant home. After that, we just send you a proposal. And if it's a yes, we send you a contract. It takes us 1 day to stage any size property. We just bring more team members the bigger the property is. So we load up our truck in the morning, come to the house, and spend the day setting it all up and making it look beautiful. And you take professional photos, and you're good to go. If it's a home where someone's still living there and it's more of a redesign, at that time, we might help them rearrange furniture, and we consult with what we think they should remove or add. And then if they need some of our inventory added, we give them a price on that, and we come back and do that.
Absolutely. Okay, good. So how do you feel like about tablecloths on a nice table? Like, I know that people often have tablecloths because they want their furniture to stay in great mint condition, but does that show well when somebody's marketing a property?
No, a beautiful table shows much better. So if someone's living in the property, I would say to them, go ahead and use your tablecloth when your house isn't being shown, but hey, take it off when it is, So, and when we stage, we never use tablecloths. We're using really beautiful dining sets, and and we also no longer set the table like people did in the 90s. It's just kind of a dated look. So we'll usually do some sort of a beautiful centerpiece arrangement, whether it be a flower arrangement or candles or something like that.
Nice. What about, like, for example, like personal photos? Like, let's say that somebody has graduation photos, pictures of their family, like all throughout the house. Do you think it shows better with that, without it? What would you recommend?
Definitely without. So it's the same kind of case. Maybe some people have like beautiful wedding photos or a family wall of photos, and they are very special to them. And so they should pack those up and take them to their next house, because the new people that are coming in to look at it, they want it to feel like their home. And when they see everyone else's, family photos, it doesn't feel like it can be their home. It feels like I'm in someone else's house. And you're trying to sell the property, and you want everyone to walk through that door to feel like this could be my home.
So what would somebody do? Let's say they have pictures of their whole family all throughout the wall. Obviously, there's still nails in the background. Would you recommend that they remove them, replace it with something else, or would you recommend that they remove it, maybe patch up the holes and repaint that, or what would happen in a situation like that?
In most cases like that, I would suggest they remove them and repaint the wall. Painting's the cheapest thing you can do to get your home spruced up for sale. And, a fresh coat of paint goes a long way. And many times, like maybe it's a very bold purple wall or, pink striped wall or something. When we walk through the house, we will suggest to homeowners to neutralize the walls and take down old wallpaper, or just go with some neutral colors, make it clean and fresh. And a coat of paint also smells better. It makes the house smell fresher, just as same as cleaning your carpets. And other than that they're clean, it gives a home a newer smell.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Okay. What about like I walk through kitchens sometimes or living rooms or dining areas and I see like carpets and like the people have like really nice flooring. For example, they've got like the latest hardwood flooring or laminate. Like, do you usually recommend rugs? Is there certain situations where the rug shows nice or what's typically the case with that?
Well, I think area rugs are important in, let's say, your living room, in your family room, maybe if you have hardwood floors in your bedrooms, but you're not going to cover up the whole floor. You want to show the beautiful floor.
Yeah.
So you want to use the area rug to soften up the space, warm up the space, and just in that one area of the living room or that one area underneath or partially underneath the bed to make it softer. I'm not a huge fan of runners. I'm not a huge fan of those small little mats you see in a kitchen in front of a kitchen sink. I mean, I might have it in my own home for use, but you show off your floor better if you don't have those. And also when you first enter the house, I know a lot of people want a little rug or mat there, but I feel like it stops the momentum. So when you first open that door and you have a beautiful whether it's a tile floor, ceramic, or wood floor, you want that person's eye and their feet to move forward. You don't want them to stop down and look at a postage stamp mat at the front door. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I see that a lot. For example, like they'll have area rugs or they'll have rugs all throughout the house, and I see it in pictures sometimes with real estate agents, and when you see the house, there's really nice flooring, but obviously, I mean, they want to protect it. So I see that. Okay. And
so I can remove those smaller area rugs and show off your floors. And again, an area rug, just like everything else, it has to be up to date, it has to be clean, has to be current. You know, so you might walk into a house and maybe their furniture's nice and they have this very outdated area rug. Well, then that should go, and it wouldn't cost them much to pick up another area rug that's new and more updated.
And what I often see sometimes is people are like, I gotta fix this, I gotta fix that before I put my property on the market. And sometimes it just really comes down to rearranging the furniture, removing a couple area rugs and staging it a little bit, and all of a sudden the property shows a lot better than if you invested $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 fixing a sprinkler in the back or fixing something that maybe doesn't add that much value, right?
Correct. That's why I say that can of paint is worth it. And that's very inexpensive, freshen up your home. Some of the things aren't worth spending the money on at that time. I mean, and someone else, a new home buyer, might want something different anyway. So making it look great. We've staged plenty of homes that were rental properties for 20 years or so. Okay, you know, they get abused, but do that fresh coat of paint and stage it, and people will see that it's beautiful. And after their inspection and all of the other things that come into place, they've already fell in love and they want to buy the home. And the home seller didn't have to go out and spend all this money or all this time with the other things. Your money is much wiser spent on home staging, and it's really not that expensive. And home staging, your home's going to sell at average 84% faster than non-staged homes and 16% higher. So staging's an investment. You make money on staging.
So it's not a cost; it's an investment.
It's an investment. You'll make your money back 3 or 4 times.
So you said 84% of the homes that are listed with home staging sell, and then in general,
homes that are staged sell 84% faster than non-staged. And on average, they sell at 16% higher in price than non-staged homes.
Wow.
So you can't lose. I mean, you should be staging.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good. And what are your thoughts like on countertops? Like, for example, like kitchen countertops, do you typically recommend that they have kitchen itinerary there, or do you recommend that they're clean? Magnets on the fridge of none of that?
Right. So all of that stuff's got to go, and put away as much as you can. And if you're living in the home and you need to get out your blender, a couple times a week, get out your blender a couple times a week. You want to have your kitchen counters as clean as possible, as empty really as possible of everyday items, because it shows more space. It'll show your space that you can cook and you can prepare meals. So you don't want it cluttered. And so you can have a few beautiful items when we stage a vacant home. Sure, we do set up some things on the kitchen counter to make it, appealing, but we make sure that we show plenty of counter space for people's use in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Same in the bathrooms. Like, get rid of that personal stuff and maybe just a pretty little flower, a nicer vase of soaps or something like that.
Yeah. So do you ever see that? Like, whenever you see property online, you see that they didn't really take the time to stage it, or it doesn't really show to its full potential?
I do. I mean, we belong to some MLSs, and I see photos all the time. And sometimes I feel sorry for homeowners because maybe they don't have the best, let's say, real estate agent, because the real estate agent should be advising them, let's make your home look like this, and then have professional photos. And rather than just someone came in and snapped some iPhone photos and their dog is there and the crib is out and there's stuff everywhere, and then they're putting those photos online. I mean, that's just not really fair to the homeowner.
Absolutely. Yeah, it makes a big difference. Okay, good. So lastly, are all home staging companies the same? Like, meaning if I decided to go with Delicious Decors, or maybe somebody that is a little bit cheaper, or somebody else, what steps should I be taking before hiring a professional staging company as a homeowner?
Well, I always suggest to homeowners, let's say we know they're getting 2 or 3 proposals. I suggest that they look at the home stager's website, they look at their portfolio, they look at maybe some other websites that they're on, like House, for instance. They look at the reviews that they've gotten, the home stager's gotten, and it's usually pretty obvious right from the get-go when you look at stagers' websites and you see this living room versus this living room, and or even how professional is their website. I mean, our business is all about looking good and about image. So you want someone that's willing to spend the money on their website and making sure they think they can present themselves as well as they can, as well as look through their portfolio. And you should see a variety of styles of homes that they've staged. It should be excellent photography, and of course the staging should be beautiful.
Okay. And are there typical costs, like price wise, or do you discuss that when you meet with them in person? How does that typically is there like an industry standard for different properties, or would it be best that they contact you directly to go into that kind of stuff?
Well, I think that we're quite competitive. I mean, per area, it's pretty common knowledge what stagers are charging in general, and, at least between the stagers. And we do tell people that we want to look at their property first before we give them a price, because there are many variables. So one house is not the same as another. I mean, size is a factor. There's many factors that are involved. But on average, we generally do a 2 or a 3 month contract, meaning you sign a contract with us, let's say for 2 months, and then we've given you a fixed price of, let's say, $3,500 for 2 months. And for that, on an everyday 1,800 square foot family home, we're staging the living room, the dining room, the master bedroom, all the bathrooms, the kitchen, and maybe another patio set. So the staging stays in your house for 60 days. After 60 days, if it still needs to remain to be staged, starting the 3rd month, we start charging a monthly rental fee, which is 20% of our staging fee. On the much higher end homes, they're 2, 3, 4, 5 million. We usually start with a 3-month proposal because of contract, because they do take longer. Almost all the properties we stage, I'd say, are about 92% sell within the 60 days. So 2-month contract's better off if it's going to sell anyway. You don't have to pay for a 3rd month.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it
Absolutely.
is a per home basis, and we do tell people that. And we would prefer taking a look at the property in person, even though it takes our time. And since we stage within a 2 hour range, we're still willing to drive that 2 hours to look at the property, discuss the staging with the homeowner and the real estate agent, and give you an accurate proposal rather than guessing by phone. And that doesn't really benefit anyone.
No, not at all. So essentially, I mean, if somebody was considering this, they can call you. It's not going to cost them absolutely anything for the consultation. You'll come out, you'll take a look at the property, you'll give them a consultation, and then they can make a decision that's best for them, whether or not they see enough value with that.
Correct. So they can call us. And I would always suggest someone looking at our website, which is www.deliciousdecors.com. We can be found on Facebook. We have probably 90 properties we have right now on house.com.
Yeah.
Look at Delicious Decors. So we're on LinkedIn. We're in many places. Also, part of our staging, we do marketing for the properties. So I do quite a bit of social media marketing. We have a professional photographer as part of our team. So our photos are always top notch.
Absolutely.
And I put those out everywhere. Yeah. It's to our benefit to help sell the property.
Yeah, absolutely. It's in everybody's benefit. Yeah.
So, we do everything we can to help that homeowner and help the real estate agent get their property sold.
Great. All right. Anything else that you'd like to say?
Oh, well, thanks for having me on. And, staging is a lot of fun. I love the end result. At the end of the day, it's like, wow, but it is a lot of work. And some people most people aren't selling homes every day. So homeowners need to just keep being educated by real estate agents and by stagers on the value of home staging.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm a firm believer in it. I see the difference. I've seen the emotional impact that buyers have whenever they see a property that's staged versus non-staged. So I'm sold on it 100%. It's just a matter of the real estate agent providing their client with the right information so that their client can see the benefits of doing something like this and then taking it from there. But I think that's pretty much it, Penny. I want to say thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate you taking the time. And if anybody has any questions, they could find you online. They could find you on your website. Is there a phone number where they can reach you as well?
Yeah, they can call me at 805-448-9226. And our website is deliciousdecors.com.
So if they want to check out some of the work, they can go on the website, right?
They should be on that website right now.
Sounds great. All right, Penny, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And I look forward to doing business with you. Make it a great day.
Me too.